Hey guys, COVID, stuck at home. What the heck? Made it this far and nope. Anyways, I'll try to make this speedy. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I know you're thinking, gosh, I hope when she's gone, we don't miss out on a bunch of important work and get to slack off. And don't worry, you won't be missing important work and slacking off. So, what are you going to do? Well, yesterday you read, let's take a look, see, you read chapter 18 and 19, and you really did read it because it's helpful, because it talks about source use. I know it's fascinating stuff. I'm sorry, but you got to read it. There's lots of different kinds of sources that sources use, and they use them rhetorically, meaning just like you would use a metaphor or an allusion or alliteration to be inspiring or compelling or motivating, to have beauty or power or purpose, people do that with sources too. There's a reason people quote the big guns, MLK, Socrates, Jesus, and there's a reason they do not quote other rando people. They do it for power by association. And that's a little bit of what you read yesterday, last night. And so our next project, Comp 5, is going to have you look at why your sources, you're going to pick some, why they use their sources. Okay, so I'm going to take you on a little tour here. The process is listed here, but I'm going to go through that same process on the rubric. So I'm going into Google Classroom, going to go into our next project area, source analysis, to try to make things simple, especially while I'm gone. I just made this an assignment. You're going to go to the rubric, which I made for each one of you. You have your own. You are going to be looking at source use, like I just said. The strengths and limitations of each source as it's used in articles that you pick. So to begin, you're going to pick a term or topic that you are interested in. Perhaps one that has a lot of different points of view, like what am I thinking about these days? You'll see a variety of topics when I show you some samples, but for me personally, I might look at what is it to take care of an elderly dog? Like, what are the best things to do? What are the definitions for caretaking of an elderly dog? Because my little Tina is a little old. I might look at what's the best way to teach when you have COVID. I might look at how to work on your golf swing in the off season, like describing things I'm interested in. I'm going to find 3 articles on that topic. And hopefully in those articles, they use a lot of different sources to make their argument compelling, use them rhetorically. So maybe in my golf example, they might cite some golf experts. They might cite a new hot golf book. They might cite the Golf Channel. They might go to a golf course and take pictures of it. Anything that is not the author, let's call that a source. Okay, then you're going to copy and paste those articles at the bottom of this rubric, right down here, right in succession. Your goal will be to identify the arguments made by the article and look at each source used by the author. You're going to use the comment tool once your articles are pasted and analyze just 8 sources. I know there might be a million sources in your article. I just want articles, so 8 total. 8 total source uses in your articles. If you hit 8 in your first article, that's fine, just 8 total. I feel like COVID brain is setting in right now, so I'm hoping this makes sense. I'll show you the examples. You'll be analyzing the effect of citing each source in terms of effectively making an argument. The focus then is not rhetorical devices or appeals that make your argument effective, but how the sources used help the message of the text. That will be your argument at the end of the article, at the end of your post. So how did the author use sources effectively or not? No paper, as long as your analysis is thorough. So like I just said at the end, write your own argument that gives a summative stance on how the author used their sources. Did they help the author achieve the purpose? Okay, so bullets. Highlight the argument of each article, summarize it in a comment. 8 sources minimum, highlighted with the comment tool, analyzed for the effect it creates on the argument to the audience for the purpose and its strengths and limitations. And in the end of each article, how did they use the sources overall? Did they help the author achieve the purpose? Did they contribute to power, persuasiveness, or beauty of the text? To get a 4, crush it. Beyond what I've suggested here shows deep thinking. Let me show you some 4s. Okay. Well, let's start at the beginning. These, by the way, are all posted right here. Samples. Sample number 1. This fellow did a great job. Look at him. He pasted his article, source right here. He wanted to know, what does it mean to be healthy? So he highlighted the argument that the author is making and summarized it. And then he starts seeing, oh, this author is using some different sources, different people. Okay, right here, list, and then analyze. Why did the author use that source? And notice he's talking not, oh, use a source makes him sound smart. No, this one was used because it's going against how most people define healthy and shows that the majority do not know what it means, which confirms what the author is arguing. Okay, another comment. Okay, why did the author use this source? Writes it out. Okay, another one. Why would the author use this source right over here? To show a broader definition. Okay, and then our fellow just keeps doing this 8 times. Okay, I should mention at the end, somewhere, Mason, where are you? Nope, Mason wrote all the way at the end, I think. Gosh, this is a nightmare. Sorry, guys. Nope. Pay no attention to these. Oh, here's where he writes this. Here's where he puts his last comment. This article does all right at using the sources. He's giving his statement here of what he thinks about source use for this particular article. He does that for each one. Let's take a look at another one. Abby. Abby wanted a success-oriented mindset. So she finds her 3. She types the argument in her own words, another argument, and then she starts explaining why the author uses these sources, how it helps the argument. And she keeps doing that for 8 sources total. And somewhere at the bottom, I think we're still going on the same source. Somewhere towards the bottom, she's going to explain why she felt, or how she felt the author used the sources. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I think she does it all the way at the end, too. Here we go. Look at her. Look at her go. This is a little excessive. At the end, summative stance. How did the author use? Here she goes into a ton of detail on the first one, the second article, and the third. You do not need to go into that much. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty thorough, though. And I will say, this gal did do very well on the AP test. Speaking of, your fellow representative from the senior class, who scored very well on the AP test, this is his sample, and he took it more by statistics and why the author would include these statistics. And then he has a nice summary paragraph of how the sources were used here. So ultimately, that's what you're up to on the schedule. You are doing this all week. Due on Monday, hopefully when I return to school and feel like $1 million. Okay, email me if you have questions. I'll be around. Basically, take care. Talk to you soon.